Hello everyone, my name is Introvert Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about a game on the channel called New World. The game is an open world MMORPG sandbox survival I guess you could call it, game. But what I'm mainly interested in is the MMO aspect. So this game is being developed by Amazon Game Studios. Yes, the Amazon Game Studios, the one that delivers packages, the mail company. And they are developing this game. They've been developing this game for about 2 years now, maybe even more. But initially they had a different vision for this game, and then they relaunched it as an MMORPG. I think they initially announced it as a survival game, and then they listened to the community's feedback. And that's one thing you're going to hear me talk about a lot in this video is they listen. And that, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm so excited for this game, is because they do listen to the community. So the game's coming out in 2 months, September 2021. I don't know the exact date. We're going to cover that later in the video. And it's an MMORPG, and I think that's just super exciting to me. I played the beta as well, and I'm just very, very excited for this game. So what are my expectations going into launch for this game? Well, I know that they've delayed it 3 times, maybe even more now. My expectations going into the game are having it have a successful and stable launch, good stability, good progression, and I hope they add more content to the game. I know in my beta impressions that I played, that I'll go over it more in detail here in a little bit, is that it felt very solid, but the questing felt dated. The questing felt old. So, seeing them update the questing would be really nice. The game felt good. The worlds and New World, go figure, felt really good. The mobs felt really good, and it's just a very different experience than a traditional MMO. The combat felt tight. I know on elevated surfaces, you know how it's kind of slanted. There is some latency issues and some issues with feedback and hitting. But overall, I think the game, for what it was in the beta, was very solid. I know that they're going to work on improving a lot of the bugs that were in the beta and exploits, and I think that's why they delayed the game. And personally, I think the delay was well warranted as well. Just because the game, although it felt good, it felt rushed out the door, and it didn't feel quite complete. So seeing them delay the game, I think, was a good move. What are my impressions of the game so far? Good. A little bit rough on the edges, but I think that's most MMORPGs launches anyways. But overall, good and solid. I think the combat needs some tweaking. I think the travel speed definitely needs to be increased, or there needs to be mounts in the game, and I've seen lots of forums and debate on that as to if there should be mounts or not in the game at launch. My personal opinion is I think there should be mounts, but they need to be introduced correctly. They can't just be rushed. And I want to see them, get creative with the mounts and make sure that they're done correctly. So what are some of the good things about this game? Well, I think one of the best parts about this game, and I mentioned it previously, is that Amazon Game Studios listens to the community, which is huge. And, they had the beta, and the beta was good, but it wasn't the best. And there was a lot of issues with the travel speed and the performance and the latency and the combat. Well, the devs listened, and they delayed the game. And I think the delay was really well oriented towards their goal with the game. And I think their goal as the developers are to listen to the community. And for the MMORPG genre, that is a breath of fresh air, an absolute breath of fresh air. So it's really cool seeing them listen. But more good things about the game that are actually in the game itself is the world. The world, I mean, as you guys can see in the background here, the world is so amazing. It's so good. you know, you've got all these different biomes, and I know that they're probably going to announce some more areas later on after the release of the game. But the overall world and feel of it, you know, you can chop down any tree you want. You can go anywhere you want. You've got these caves, you've got these ancient ruins, kind of like a new frontier feeling. Everything's just got a weight to it, and I like that about New World. You know, other MMOs, you don't really get that itch. I mean, it feels pretty similar to Black Desert Online or something along those lines, but I really like how this game gives you the freedom to go wherever you want and do whatever you want. And the crafting is really good, and I think they know that's probably one of the biggest strengths about their game is the world. Another great thing about the game that I didn't really reach in the beta was the dungeons, or I can't remember exactly what they're called, but the dungeons where you can kind of go in with a crew of 4 or 5 people and fight and get through and get rewards. I think those look really good. My only gripe with those is I hope they can make more variety. And I've heard that there is more variety at the later ones, but the beginning 2 or 3 felt very samey. They've had, I think it's like 2 bosses, mobs, and then that's it. Where, you know, you look at something like Final Fantasy and it just seems different. I mean, there's much more content, 10 years. And I think that's one of the biggest setbacks of this game is that it is so new compared to its competition. You know, you've got Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, Black Desert Online. All these other MMOs have been around for 10 years, 15 years, Elder Scrolls Online. Whereas this is just coming out. So I think people are going to really have to give this a chance and let it grow as time goes on. So I think that's another strength is the overall feel of the game and the dungeons. Some things that it can improve on. Some of the things that it can improve on are definitely the combat. I think the combat can definitely get tweaked and worked on a little bit. Overall, it's good though. It feels like a mixture of Elder Scrolls Online, kind of, in this. It's kind of like a mix. And some of the other things it can improve on are the stability in the towns. I know that they can work on that. The travel speed, the connection to the servers was really big, and I know that this is a beta test, and I know that's probably what they were testing was the overall stability of the game and the servers themselves. So I know on beta launch, it took some people hours just to get into the servers itself. So that's another thing I want to see improved. One of the biggest things that I want to see improved with the game are the questing. The questing is very lackluster, and I think they really need to tweak and work on the questing in the game overall. So I think that's another big thing that they can work on is maybe adding some more variety, more dialogue to the questing itself, because right now what we got in the beta was not very good. Another big point to this game that I'm seeing on forums and online is pay to convenience or pay to win. I think time's really going to tell in this game, but pay to win seems like it might be a problem. To what I've seen is that it's going to be at launch, it's going to be very non-pay to win, but I think after a while they're going to start adding pay to convenience items like paying for traveling or paying for baggage, paying for weight. And I hope that's not the case. But I know for a lot of people that is going to be a deal breaker. So seeing that is going to be something that we'll have to keep our eyes out as the consumer. And I know for other people, it's not going to be that big of a deal compared to others. For me personally, I don't mind pay to win, pay to convenience, as long as it's not super intrusive and I can't level up. You know, things like XP boosts, I think that's a tough one. I see, you know, for a casual player trying to catch up, I think it's good, but then it kind of discredits everything that the hardcore player went through to reach level 60. So, I mean, you could go either way. We really don't know yet. And I know Amazon Game Studios has released a forum on this, or a post saying that they're going to add stuff later on, which is kind of a letdown. But judging by how much they listen and how much they want to improve on the game, I wouldn't be surprised if they took it out or tweaked it. You know, me personally, I'd love to see mounts in the game. and not having to pay to fast travel. And I think fast traveling kind of discredits the world itself. I'd much rather prefer to ride around and gather and see people out in the actual open world than pay $5 to travel to the nearest town. So, you know, that's one of the biggest problems that I, you know, have with the game is I don't want to pay to try and get somewhere. So we'll wrap the video up here with some news articles, just explaining the overall release date of the game, and just kind of some information that we didn't talk about here. So I'll see you guys in a second. All right, guys. So this is a post from New World about the actual delay of the game from the beta. So it says here, we are humbled by the support of New World received from players around the world throughout the closed beta. During the beta, more than 1 million adventures, which is absolutely insane. 1 million people either paid for it or got in by luck, but most of them paid for it, which is huge. More than 16 million total hours. Thanks to your support, New World has become one of the most watched games on Twitch and one of the most played games on Steam. The passion and enthusiasm you've shown for the New World validates the work we've put in over the past year, improving the game based on your feedback. So they say here, along the way, you've also given us a ton of feedback that you'll use to make New World even better. And that's kind of what I was stating towards the beginning of my video was they listen. And I think that's just such a breath of fresh air. We want New World to launch to be smooth and a fun experience for all players. And that means making some improvements based on what we encountered during the closed beta. So crashing, performance, stability, all those things they're going to work on. And that's why they delayed it. So we're going to take a few extra weeks to smash bugs, improve stability, and polish the game. New World's global launch will be September 28th. So from the time of making this video, just about a month, a little over a month. This was not an easy decision to make. We know this isn't the first time we've changed our launch date in pursuit of quality, and that it can be disappointing to wait a little bit longer. But we want to be sure we deliver the highest quality game possible at launch. Thank you for your support and feedback. So this is huge to me, and I love how transparent they're being with this. You know, they've got work to do, and they know that, and that's why they delayed the game. So I think that's just really good as well, is seeing their transparency with it and seeing their overall dedication to making the game better. All right, guys. Well, that's all I had for New World today. I'm going to be covering this game pretty extensively on my channel overall. I'm going to give post a few more videos on this before the launch, and then probably give my very first gameplay impressions when the game launches on September 28th. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, it would be really awesome if you guys did and supported me. And then please follow me on Twitch, where I also stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. It's more variety, but I'm going to try and cover as much of the MMORPG genre as possible. So with that being said, guys, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for supporting, and thanks for watching the video.